Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a 6 Samurai deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because we just got some amazing support for this deck out of Rage of the Abyss, even giving us a new form to Shein, which is awesome. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name scratched for every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Kizan. Kizan is definitely a 3-up in the deck. It's actually how we loop through a copy of Gateway over and over and over again. As this card has the ability, if you control a 6 Samurai monster with a different name, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a crazy powerful effect. It's not a once per turn, it's every time you have this card in your hand, you can special summon it out, which is insane. This card is definitely a 3-up, and basically what the entire deck revolves around beside your copy of Gateway to loop through this card. We then play 3 copies of Anarchist Monk of the 6 Samurai. This card is a new card that we actually just got out of Rage of the Abyss, and it's an awesome new extender for the deck that has the ability, if you control a 6 Samurai monster other than a copy of Anarchist Monk, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is an awesome effect just to instantly get this tuner out on your side of the field. This card also has the ability, you can only special summon this card once per turn this way, and if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a 6 Samurai quick play spell from your deck to your hand. And also this card has an insane effect that gives your synchro monsters a really cool buff, and a 6 Samurai monster that was synchro summoned using this card gains this effect that the level of all monsters that your opponent control is reduced by 1, which can really mess up a lot of strategies, especially synchro and XZ strategies, by reducing their level so they don't have the exact level they need to go in for their synchro plays or their XZ plays. We then play 3 copies of Tactical Trainer of the 6 Samurai. Tactical Trainer is definitely a 3-up, and this card is actually an Earth Tuner, which is awesome. This card is also an extender because if you control a 6 Samurai monster other than a copy of this card, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a 6 Strike card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and also a 6 Samurai monster that was synchro summoned using this card gains this effect that monsters your opponent control lose 500 attack points, which is a really powerful effect to be able to use, especially when you stack it with other card effects in this deck to basically just reduce your opponent's attack points way down so he can go in for game. This card is really good as a 3-up, but you can only special summon it once per turn. We then play 3 copies of Kaigeki. Kaigeki is amazing in this deck because this card has the ability, when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower 6 Samurai monster from your hand to your side of the field, which is an awesome fact to get 2 monsters out on your side of the field so you can go for your copy of Battle Shogun so we can search out our copy of our Gateway of the 6. We then play 2 copies of Kizaru. Kizaru is great in the deck as a 2-up, and this card is actually one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, as when this card is special summoned, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 6 Samurai monster with a different attribute from every other monster you control, which is a really cool effect to instantly grab the exact monster you need from your deck to your hand, so you can start going in for your plays. We then play a single copy of Hatsumi. Hatsumi is really good as a 1-up in the build because this card is basically a walking monster reborn, as you can banish 2 6 Samurai monsters from your graveyard and or face up from your field, and then target 1 6 Samurai monster in your graveyard, except another copy of this card, and special summon it, which is a great effect to instantly bring out one of your monsters from the grave. We then play a single copy of Mizuho and a single copy of Shinai. I have reduced these cards down to 1 each because it's very easy to loop through these cards even at 1 in the deck, and they basically have the effect that if you control each of these cards, you can actually special summon out the other one, which is a great effect from your hand, so you can basically just loop these cards over and over again. So for example, if you control your copy of Mizuho, you can special summon Shinai from your hand, and if you control Shinai, you can special summon Mizuho from your hand, which is a really cool effect. We play a single copy of Fuma. Fuma's great in the deck. This card is a level 1 tuner that's going to help you going for a lot of really cool synchro plays. We play a single copy of Grandmaster of the 6, the original 6 Samurai card. This card is so good in the deck. It's basically just an extender that if you control a 6 Samurai monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is an awesome effect to instantly bring this card out to the field. We then play a single copy of Great Shogun Shien. Great Shogun Shien is so cool in this deck as a 1-of. As if you control 2 or more 6 Samurai monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap each turn, which is a crazy powerful ability to be able to use this card. It basically just locks down your opponent. It doesn't count the negated ones, so you have to let 1 go through, and then they can't activate any more spells or traps for the rest of the turn. And this card is absolutely amazing in the deck because it's just a really good extender, and it comes out with 2,500 attack points. It's basically a free special summon. We then play a single copy of Shien Squire. Shien Squire is really cool in the deck as a 1-of to help us going for a lot of cool synchro plays in the deck. Plus, this card is a level 1 Earth Tuner, which works really well with our copy of our Kizan, so we can basically go in for a copy of Naturia Beast to constantly negate spells, which is really cool. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda is amazing in this deck as a 1-of to basically just use this card to search out the exact 6 Samurai monster that you need. We play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good as a 1-of in the deck to basically just stop your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of Gateway of the Six. Gateway of the Six is basically what the entire deck revolves around. This card has a crazy powerful effect that you can actually loop this card, that each time a 6 Samurai monster is normal or special summon, you place 2 Bushido counters on this card. You can also remove Bushido counters from your field to activate these effects. If you remove 2 counters, you can target a 6 Samurai monster or a Shien effect monster, and that target gains 500 attack. If you remove 4, which is the main effect we're going to use on this card all the time, you can add a 6 Samurai monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a really powerful effect to basically just instantly grab one of your 6 Samurai monsters from your deck or graveyard, so you can loop through your copies of your Kizan and Grandmaster, constantly special something back to your side of the field, generating more counters on your different cards, and basically just going in for game and looping through. For the 6 effect, if you remove 6 counters, you can target a Shien effect monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. You rarely use that effect in case your copy of like your Shien Squires in the graveyard or your copy of your Great Shogun Shien is in the graveyard. You will sometimes use that effect, but it's very rare. We then play a single copy of Double Assault. Double Assault is really cool to be able to play in the deck. This card is searchable. This card is basically Monster Reborn. As you apply one of these effects, or if you control 2 or more 6 Samurai monsters, you can apply both these effects in sequence to special summon a 6 Samurai monster with 2,000 or less attack from your hand or graveyard, or change one monster your opponent controls with 2,000 or less attack to face down defense position, basically being a Monster Reborn and a Book of Moon. This card also has the ability during your main phase, you can manage this card from the graveyard and then target a 6 Samurai monster in your grave and add it back to your hand, which is an amazing ability to instantly grab a 6 Samurai out of your graveyard to keep going with your plays. We then play a single copy of Asceticism. Asceticism is amazing in this deck. There's multiple targets in this deck that you can actually use with Asceticism. All they have to do is have matching attack points, and you can special summon a 6 Samurai from your deck. You target a 6 Samurai monster you control, and then special summon a 6 Samurai monster from your deck with the same attack, but a different name. And if you do, destroy it during the end phase. So you're basically just using this card basically like an E-Telly to bring out one of your 6 Samurai monsters to your side of the field. We then play 2 copies of Cunning of the 6 Samurai. Cunning is amazing in this deck. This card is really good now that it's searchable, and it lets you send a face-up 6 Samurai monster you control to the graveyard, and then target a 6 Samurai monster in either player's graveyard and special summon that target, which is an amazing ability to help you dodge hand traps that target, and also help you use this card to basically just recover your 6 Samurais back to your side of the field. Plus, your copy of Legendary Lord 6 Samurai Shien is a soft once per turn monster negate, so if you send it to the graveyard off your copy of Cunning, you can then bring it back to your side of the field with Cunning, and then basically use its effect again as a monster negate. So you can kind of turn your copy of Cunning into basically like a monster negate, which is really cool. The only requirement is that you have to have a face-up 6 Samurai on your side of the field, and any 6 Samurai in the graveyard. It doesn't say you can't send the same one and then bring back the same one, which is insane. We then play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent is really good in the deck as a 2, but I feel like only 2 is really what you need. This card either lets you draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monster, or look at your opponent's hand and choose a card from it and shuffle it into the deck, which is great to give you some knowledge of your opponent's hand, so you can get rid of hand traps or just draw 2 more extenders. We then play 2 copies of 6 Samurai United. 6 Samurai United is great in this deck as a 2 to basically just store your Bushido counters, because each time a 6 Samurai monster is normal or special summon, you place a Bushido counter on this card, maximum 2. And you can also send this card to the graveyard and draw a card for each Bushido counter on this card, which is always going to be 2 that you're going to send this card to the graveyard with. But something very important about this card with your copy of Gateway is this card actually has a limit to the amount of Bushido counters you can put on it. So if you have Gateway on your side of the field, make sure you're moving from this card so we can keep accumulating those Bushido counters on this card. Make sure that when you activate Gateway, Gateway can remove them from anywhere on your side of the field, so you can actually remove them from United, and then just keep putting them back on your copy of United, generating more Bushido counters on it. We then play 3 copies of Xian Smoke Signal. Xian Smoke Signal is basically like Rhoda for the deck, letting you add a level 3 or lower 6 Samurai monster from your deck to your hand, which is an amazing effect. We then play 3 copies of Dojo. Dojo is so powerful in this build because each time a 6 Samurai monster is normal or special summon, you get to place a Bushido counter on this card. You can also send this card to the graveyard to special summon a 6 Samurai or a Xian effect monster from your main deck, whose level is less than or equal to the number of Bushido counters on this card. This card can help you summon out any monster from your deck, which is amazing. Even Great Shogun Xian, which is insane. If you can accumulate like 7 counters on this card, you can basically summon out anything from the deck, which is insane. We then play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Forbidden Droplets is really good in this deck. So you can basically make it so this card can negate everything on your opponent's side of the field that's a monster, as your copy of Gateway will help you recover your 6 Samurais from the graveyard so you can feed your copy of Droplets, which is really cool. But this card is great in the deck to be able to use, as it helps you basically turn your opponent's field off, and you can use this card to basically just negate your opponent's card effects and half the attack and defense points of those monsters so you can go in for game. So this card is a definite 3 of in the build. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing a single copy of the Angel Statue. Angel Statue is great in the deck to be able to put on your side of the field with Silhouette Rabbit, because this card actually negates a special summon and special summons itself as a trap monster with 1800 attack and 1800 defense as a light fairy level 4, which is a pretty cool effect to basically just use this card to block a special summon. This card is amazing in the deck because it's basically just a searchable negation, which is absolutely crazy, and it helps you with your copy of Silhouette Rabbit to also pop spells and traps with your copy of your Silhouette Rabbit. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with the new Xian Legendary Lord 6 Samurai Xian. This card is an awesome retrain to 6 Samurai Xian, but you got to play 2 copies of this card, as this card is insane. This card has the ability, if this card is synchro summon, you can add a 6 Samurai monster or a Xian effect monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is such a powerful effect that this card is actually a searcher. This card is also a walking monster negate, so this card is one of the first cards you're going to want to summon out of your extract, so you can block cards like Nibiru or any hand trap that your opponent might summon. So this card is very important to summon out before your 5th summon, or even before you summon out your copy of your Battle Shogun to search out your copy of your Gateway. We can play a single copy of Legendary 6 Samurai Xian, and yes, we have the ultimate rare for this profile. So definitely give us a like for this one, guys. This card is a walking spell trap negate, and it's really good in the deck as a 1-of, and it's just such a powerful card. We then play a single copy of the Legendary Lord 6 Samurai Inishi. Inishi is a game-ending card. This card is so powerful because it makes it so warrior monsters, you can only gain 500 attack and defense during the battle phase only, and it also is a massive balance because if this card is synchro summon, you can manage any number of 6 Samurai monsters from your graveyard and then target that many monsters your opponent controls and return those monsters back to the hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one of your banished 6 Samurai monsters, which is a great effect. But this card basically just clears the way so you can go in for game and also make sure other 6 Samurai monsters massive. We then play a single copy of Naturia Beast. Naturia Beast is great in the deck to help you negate spell cards, and it's really easy to make in this build. We then play a single copy of FA Dawn Dragster. Dawn Dragster is also a spell and trap negate, and I find myself making level 7s really easily in this deck. So this card is really good overall in this build just to throw in defense position, so you can basically have an additional spell and trap negate. We then play a single copy of Number 60. Number 60 is really good in the deck as a 1-of, because this card gives you 3 powerful effects to either skip your draw phase, draw 2 and discard a card, skip your next main phase, and then special summon a monster in the grave in defense, or skip the next battle phase on the next turn, but double the attack of a monster that on your side of the field until the end phase, which is a great effect just to help you go in for game, or just help you extend your plays. We can play a single copy of Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess just helps you out towers like boss monsters, why don't you play this card in the deck. We can play a single copy of Sword Yugioh. I guarantee you're going to summon this card every single duel. This card is really good because if you use 4 monsters to make this card, you get to draw 4 and then put 3 back, helping you fix your hand and grabbing the exact extenders that you need. Also, this card is a crazy powerful effect that once per turn, you can special summon a monster in your hand, which is really good to work with your copy of Kizaru to instantly special summon it out so you can search out an additional 6 samurai from the deck. We can play a single copy of Zelantis. Zelantis is a really spicy tech card in this build, because you can actually link away your copy of Sword Yugioh to summon out Zelantis to reset your copies of your 6 samurai monsters, which is really insane. I love that about this card, and it's really easy to make, so all you have to do is link away your copy of Skull Dread to make this card, and plus it also helps you pop cards during your opponent's battle phase, which is amazing. But Zelantis is actually insane in this build because it helps you reset your 6 samurai monsters and generate you more Bushido counters, because those 6 samurai monsters will return back to the field and basically just generate you more Bushido counters on your different cards like Gateway, United, your copy of Battle Shogun, any of those monsters that are on the field, which is really cool. Not Battle Shogun because it has to special summon to the zone it points to, but it will generate tokens on your copies of Dojo, United, and Gateway, which is amazing. Speaking of Battle Shogun, we also play 2 copies of Battle Shogun. 2 is really all you need for this deck. This card has the ability, if it's a link summon, you can discard a card to add a card from your deck to your hand that has the effect to place Bushido counters on it. We always search Gateway. If you don't have Gateway, search Dojo. But this card also is really good because each time a 6 samurai monster is normally special summoned to a zone this card points to, you place a Bushido counter on this card, and also this card gains a 100 attack for each Bushido counter on your field. This card can get infinitely powerful because you can just loop through your 6 samurai monsters over and over and over and over again to basically just make this card get massive on your side of the field so you can go in for game. We then play a single copy of Still Hat Rabbit. Still Hat Rabbit is really good because it helps set our copy of our Angel statue on our side of the field. Plus, when we activate Angel statue, we can actually pop a spell or trap in the field, basically turning it into a spell trap pop and a negate for a special summon, which is really good. We'll make a single copy of SP Little Knight. If you don't have SP Little Knight, you can change it out for like a Nightmare Phoenix as another budget option, which is actually a really valid option to make in this deck, especially with your copy of Zelantis, because you can make your copy of Zelantis, put it back on your side of the field, and then link away one of your cards or 2 of your cards away for a copy of Nightmare Phoenix to be able to point to your copy of Zelantis so it gets its bonus effect, and your copy of Zelantis is protected with your copy of Phoenix's effect, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is great for this deck to help you go in for your copy of SP. You can also change out SP for Unicorn if you want a card to spin cards, because you can then put your copy of Zelantis under an extra monster zone and then have your copy of your Unicorn point down to your copy of Zelantis, which is another budget option for you guys instead of the copy of SP Little Knight. So that's it for the deck, guys. If you guys enjoy this deck, definitely give this video a like. It's insane. It's so powerful to be able to build this deck, and it's amazing that we have a new Shein, and all these new cards for this deck is insane. Are we going to see Gateway go back to 2 or 3? I don't know, but this deck is so powerful to be able to play, and it's really, really fun to be able to loop through your copies of your 6 Samurais again. So, that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.